останавливаться. Ходим. Ходим. А?
And I checked the idiot fruit too. This was that on the right, so on the left.
Пятачок, да?
Islam Makhachev traps Rizvan Magomedov with no way out.
Ты как туда попал, Ризван?
Случайно оказался. Эй, а ты травмируешь сейчас?
Эй, ты туда как попал, скажи, да, Ризван? А? Ризван, ты туда как попал, скажи, да, брат? А?
Islam Makhachev is set to face Jack Della Maddalena for the UFC welterweight title at UFC 322, taking place on November 15th, 2025 at Madison Square Garden in New York City.
It's the final week of training for Islam Makhachev, and things are getting serious. He's putting in those last hard rounds of wrestling, striking, and polishing every move like it's fight night already. You can see it in his focus. There's no joking around and no distractions. Just pure grind. Islam looks locked in, calm but dangerous, like a man who knows exactly what's coming and is ready to handle it.
Пацаны все пошли здесь, Ислам приходит 59, он не опаздывает, он ровно 59 здесь будет.
Только свет включили, интернет появился. У нас идет разминка, потом у нас будет отработки, обработки, потом у нас будет спарринги. Настроение нормальное. Завтра уже мало кто будет улыбаться. И вот в моменте передумал.
After watching Islam grind through his final week of training, you can tell the man's built differently. He's focused, calm, and ready to go.
Jack or Islam? Well, Islam уйдет и двойной, Jack уйдет. My trainer, asking he coach brother, wait, what he gonna say? We'll see. Your opinions?
5% от Maddalenas.
Oh, Islam luktar vez var.
Delar, just han problem.
Coach says 55% Maddalena, 45 Islam, but I think Islam, we'll see. Both good fighters. Islam moving up, it's interesting to see what's he gonna do. But I think Islam will be more, he gonna use his wrestling more in this fight.
But Jack doesn't seem nervous. Rather, he actually seems intrigued. He's aware that Islam's wrestling is no joke, but he feels his own improvements in grappling will surprise people. You can tell he's been putting serious work into that area, especially after how solid his defense looked in his last fight. There's confidence in how he says he's got a few new things ready, like he's holding something back for fight night.
Have you had any sort of breakthroughs in the way you did, defensive wrestling or grappling? Were there any sort of particular aha moments over the last year plus or so for you?
I mean, it's been a big part of what I've been doing, like a lot of grappling. There's a lot of good grapplers in the division. So there's a lot of a lot of hard grappling rounds, trying to get better every day at grappling. But we sort of set a couple of tricks and stuff that we thought would work, and they did come off well. Craig Jones, the team, helped me out a lot. So had a few tricks in the back pocket that we pulled out in the fight, but got us back to the feet, or at least kept it on the feet.
When Khabib's name came up, Jack didn't shy away from giving him full respect. He called Khabib a legend, and you could tell he meant it. But he also made it clear that this fight isn't about Khabib, it's about Islam. Jack said he's not fighting the legacy or the hype, he's fighting the man standing across from him. That mindset really shows how focused he is. He's not getting caught up in comparisons or narratives, just staying locked on the challenge in front of him.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, of course, one of Islam coaches and a legend in this sport, right? He has said that you are the toughest challenge that Islam faces, that not Ilya, not any of these other guys. When you hear that, I mean, would you agree? And why would you agree?
I mean, I guess, yeah, I do agree. I think being the champion of an upper weight class, it is definitely the biggest challenge of his career, you know? Going up, not many people have been able to go in and secure the second belt, so it's a big challenge for him. So I think they obviously aren't taking that lightly, and yeah, Khabib's obviously a legend in the sport. To hear that is
He also knows what he's up against, a finisher who doesn't give you time to breathe once you're on the ground. That's why Jack keeps bringing up movement and timing, saying that staying active and never letting Islam settle could be the key. It's like he's preparing for a chess match, not just a brawl.
How much are you able to kind of adjust that and maybe potentially add that to your strategy in this fight versus like your normal, typical way that you tend to fight?
I mean, it's similar. I think, yeah, not stop moving. I think Islam, if he can get on top of you and you give him time to sort of get to better positions, I think he'll just keep getting to better positions until he can get the finish. I think keeping moving, never letting a position really settle is going to be a key to the victory.
Even when his coach predicted he could knock Islam out, Jack didn't laugh it off. He nodded, like he already believed it himself. There's no arrogance in it, more like quiet certainty. He trusts his coach, trusts his game, and knows that one clean shot could flip everything.
It was pretty, yeah, 100%. That was what the talk was. If I won, it was Islam, and then pretty much straight away we knew that was the fight that was going to happen.
And of course, he said, I think he's going to knock him out. I mean, when you hear that, does that... How much pressure and how much confidence does that give you? I mean, each one.
Yeah, for sure. I always trust Ben's words. I feel like he never, shies away from the truth. He says what he sees, and yeah. So hearing him say that, I believe I can do it, and that's what I'm gunning for.
Speaking of his coach, Ben Vickers sounds calm but confident about the plan. He says this fight could end early or stretch into the later rounds, and either way, they're ready. The focus isn't on rushing, it's on being sharp and taking the chance when it comes. He knows Jack's got the power to end it at any second, but what gives him even more confidence is Jack's cardio, the kind that lets him stay dangerous from the first to the last minute. You can tell they've worked on pacing and patience, not just brute strength. Ben doesn't spill details, but the way he talks shows belief in Jack's timing, control, and ability to keep the pressure steady. He trusts that if Islam gives even the smallest window, Jack will make it count.
It's going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round, or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute. It could happen in the 24th minute. It could happen in the 24-minute, 59 seconds. It could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights. You know, he likes to be in there. But obviously we're not getting paid for overtime. So if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Bilal's reputedly the best cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Bilal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight. So Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional, and yeah, I like the fight.
Javier Mendez seems to be hinting that Islam is often misunderstood as just a grappler. He points out that Islam's striking isn't traditional or predictable, and anyone who thinks they can take him lightly on the feet is in for a surprise. Mendez has been watching Islam for over a decade and stresses that even fighters who are technically better strikers often struggle when facing him. He keeps it simple but clear. Islam's stand-up is another weapon in his arsenal, and it can catch people off guard. Mendez doesn't give exact tactics or reveal his full game plan, but the message is clear. Underestimate Islam's striking at your own risk. It's about respecting his complete skill set, rather than just assuming he's a wrestler.
Bilal's, because Islam has more of a traditional style for his stand-up. Do you feel like people are kind of missing some of the X factors that Islam brings with his striking?
If he's saying that, I hope that he goes in believing that, because when he gets in there with Islam, you're going to find out a whole different story because I'm sorry, they're completely different. And by no means is Islam an easy for anybody to understand. Any MMA fighter that's a striker, that's not going to have an easy time with him. I've been with this kid like going on 11 years of watching him just destroy everybody on the stand-up, guys that are much better stand-up than him, and he still destroys them. So, no. Don't go by what you see. When you get in there with that man, it's a whole.
Whereas Luke Thomas thinks a lot of the fight will come down to striking versus wrestling, and he sees JDM's advantage if the fight stays mostly standing. He feels Islam is definitely a skilled striker, but Jack's power, timing, and upper weight class strength could make the difference. Luke points out that if Islam can't mix things up effectively, if he gives up back exposure or gets controlled on the ground, his path to winning becomes much harder. He emphasizes that wrestling defense will be key for Islam, but it is far from impossible.
Islam is not a shitty striker by any stretch of the imagination. I think everyone would agree, but he's not JDM. And again, up a weight class too, not just in terms of pure ability, but how that leverages up a weight class. If he can make this a striking contest, then, you know, predominantly, not exclusively, of course, but predominantly, then I feel like it's his fight to lose, to be honest with you. But, you know, if he's constantly getting taken down, if he is being held down, if he is giving up back exposure, even then he might be able to find ways to win, but it makes the job radically more difficult. This is, if you're going to get first of all, don't get taken down. And if you're going to get taken down, don't create back exposure and wrestle up quickly without creating submission opportunities. Like, that is the fucking name of the game, in addition to how you set that up with your striking. But that wrestling up, back exposure, takedowns, he cannot have that be a significant part of this fight and I think win.
Luke also doesn't think a first round finish is the most likely outcome, even with JDM's knockout power. He points out that Islam has become really good at managing risk and minimizing the kinds of mistakes that could get him chinned early. He's sequential and smart in how he sets up attacks, so it would take a perfect shot from JDM for it to end that quickly. That said, Luke admits JDM's power makes it possible, so you can't completely rule out an early finish either.
How surprised would you be if this thing finishes in the first round? For either direction, JDM gets the knockout. Ben Vickers told me he believes JDM knocks Islam out, or Islam gets him down straight away and submits him.
I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh, because it's well matched and because they're both really good, and even a guy like Islam very good defensively, that like, I don't think it can end early. This is MMA. They're wearing fucking biking gloves. You know what I mean? Like, you get tapped on the chin, you're very likely to go down. I would say it'd be a little bit surprising, only in the sense of what I just mentioned, which is that Islam has very good defense. It was something that was a bit of a problem for him early, and I think he's really worked on not just how he covers, but how he manages a fight and a round to minimize the kinds of more extreme forms of risk that a fight can bring if you're not careful.
Luke frames the fight as a test of timing, strategy, and physicality, leaving a lot open-ended. He's focused on how Islam balances his strength, speed, and cardio at this new weight while navigating JDM's pressure and power. The way he handles takedowns, back exposure, and striking exchanges could decide the outcome, but until the cage door closes, there's still plenty of mystery. It's not just about who's better at one thing, it's about who controls the flow and adapts to what the other brings.
Well, honestly, it wouldn't be. Like, JDM is powerful, and I think we don't even know the full extent to which he's great. So what I would say is, do I think him getting chinned in the first round is like the most likely thing? Probably not. I think it probably goes, 2-3 rounds at least. But when you're dealing with so many, in some senses, known, but also kind of unknown factors in terms of how it all works together, anything is possible, dude. I would not. I'm rarely one of these guys like, it could never end in the first round. Yes, it could.
Michael Chandler began by describing Jack Della Maddalena as brilliant and violent with the basics. He explained that while JDM might not throw flashy techniques, his simple, clean moves are incredibly effective, the kind that can break through even the toughest opponents. Chandler highlighted that Jack's reach and timing could create real problems for Islam, especially if he keeps the fight on the feet. At the same time, he reminded everyone that Islam isn't just any lightweight. His strength, composure, and ability to handle size come from years of work working with bigger fighters, from 170 pounders up to even 205 pounders, so physical size won't be an issue at all. What really matters, Chandler said, is whether JDM can defend against the relentless wrestling Islam brings.
I think Islam does next weekend.
JDM is a tough. He's not much of a puzzle, man. He's pretty basic, but he is brilliant and violent and devastating with the basics, man. A little bit of range, a little bit of reach on Islam. And I won't even sit there and say, because Islam's a different breed, man. I wouldn't sit there and say, oh, he's a 155er, so he's not used to going with 170 pounders. I would not be surprised if Islam, his entire career, has been sparring with 55, 70, 185, and 205ers, because the dude's kind of a nut. So I think I don't think strength or size is going to be the problem. It's really going to be the dichotomy between JDM's great striking abilities and is his takedown defense enough to stop the onslaught of wrestling that Islam's going to bring. Because I do think, even the stand-up battle against Poirier does hit hard, because I witnessed that and felt it firsthand, but there's no way.
Chandler also admitted this matchup could go either way. He leaned slightly toward JDM because of his power and precise striking, but made it clear that it wouldn't be surprising if Islam takes control once the grappling begins. He described the fight as one of those matchups where you just know something unexpected is coming, and that unpredictability is exactly what makes it so thrilling for fans.
It's as hard as JDM. So I think it'll be interesting, man. I think Islam's going to get tagged up a couple times, and we're going to see if he goes to that wrestling pretty quick. But I think JDM's a monster, man. I think I give JDM the slight favor, or the slight nod in that one. But I would not be surprised if Islam is holding the belt, and then now you got a whole nother conundrum where you got Ilya and him wanting the super fight and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens, man. Crazy sport.
Crazy sport.
It's the final week of training for Islam Makhachev, and you can tell he's locked in. Every drill, every sparring round, every detail of his game is being sharpened to perfection. He's focused, intense, and determined to prove why he's the champ. At the same time, Jack Della Maddalena is looking ready too. His striking is sharp, his cardio is on point, and his confidence is high after a camp that clearly set him up for a big fight. Experts are split on how this one will go. Some see Jack's power and precision giving him the edge if it stays standing, while others think Islam's wrestling and control will eventually take over. No matter how you see it, this fight is going to be something special. Who do you think will come out on top? Let us know in the comments below.